Good morning! Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. What is going on? I hope everyone's having a great day, or evening, or afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are in this great big world. I hope you're doing awesome. Thanks for taking some time to tune in to Home Built Workshop and Wednesday Live. Sam's here! Sam, you beat me! Right on! Sam says hello. Good morning, Sam. Sam Packin's here. Rick says good morning. Good morning to you. How are you doing this fine Wednesday morning? Right on, right on. Well, as we get settled in here, we are off to a warm start. We've got a few days of pretty toasty weather here, and yeah, it's like, I don't know, 75 or something already here inside the shop. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a warm day, I think. Sam says good, thank you. Rick says just wiping the sleep out of my eyes. I feel like the same, but I didn't just get up. Dastardly Dave, sup all? Hey Jeff, what's up, Dave? Good morning. Richard's here. Richard said, made it. Woohoo! 98 degrees. Yeah, we hit, well, may as well have been 100 yesterday, 99.6 or something like that. I don't know what it's supposed to be today. Hopefully a little bit cooler, but we'll find out. Right on. Right on. So what's on your workbench? What are you guys working on today? Got any projects in the works? I'm going to get to mine here shortly. Sam says, does all wood need priming before the undercoat or just undercoat? What do you mean by undercoat exactly, Sam? You mean like the top coat, maybe? Like a paint? Because I think that makes a difference. Babeless Desert Art says hi. Good morning to you. How are you doing? Are you guys kind of toasty down your way? It's been warm here, I'll tell you that. And this is going to be a strange one. I don't even have coffee this morning. So it's water because it's pretty warm. I could go for another cup, but yeah, it's kind of hot. So bear with me on that. I'll give you a water cheers. That's about all I got this morning. Sam says undercoat in the UK is a base paint. Oh, okay. You know, I think a primer is really, if you're gonna paint a piece of wood, a primer's, as far as I can see it, it's never really gonna hurt anything, you know. But I don't always think it's necessary. It's not a bad idea. If I was gonna paint like a guitar or something like that, I definitely would apply some primer before I put the paint on there. If I was painting something like a wall or something, well, a wall's typically already, well, mine are already painted. I probably would if it was fresh. If it was fresh wood of some sort, I think a primer would probably be a good idea. But you guys, chime in. I'm not a professional painter by any means, so if you have suggestions on that, leave them there in the comments. Dastardly Dave says, finishing the neck for the Texas Toast Guitars $400 build contest. Right on. That's awesome. Good luck to you. I haven't even heard about that. How have I missed out on that one? Sam Packin says, working on the Stones build, had to pull the bridge post inserts to get them right. Oh, get them right down flush to get the action a bit lower. Did you end up having to recess them a little bit? I've seen that done quite a bit. That's gonna be a cool build. Right on. Sam Packin said, "Yep, had to recess them." Cool. Sam said great scrapers with utility knife blades are great for chopping zip ties flush. Yes, cut those zip ties flush. And there's nothing worse than cutting a zip tie at the angle and it leaves that razor sharp tip that you will scrape your arm in the worst spot if you don't cut the zip ties flush. Rick says, thanks, Jeff. Hey, you're welcome. Nice job on the build. That's cool. Alrighty, let's jump in here. What in the world am I working on? I am working on, of course, the acoustic. I got pieces all over the place. Bracing. I am working on braces. I'm in the process of carving, getting the rest of these things carved. I'm hoping to get them all carved today. Well, I was hoping to have them done by now, but we had a little bit of it's been an interesting few days here. I mentioned a while, I think last week, that my daughter was off to summer camp, and she ended up having to come home early, not through any fault of hers, but someone in her camp group got sick, unfortunately, and they had to disperse the group much earlier than planned. So Friday I ended up having to go pick her up. She wasn't supposed to have been home till Monday, so I was hoping to have all this ready to go by like over the weekend. I have this completely done, but got held up a little bit. And then once she got back from camp, she wasn't feeling all that great, so I kind of had a couple of days of her not feeling better, but her not feeling great. And so that changed my plans on this. But she's feeling better, which is good, and we're getting caught back up on carving all these braces. I pretty much have everything rough shaped, except for the rest of this transverse bar. We're working on this one right now. It's got to finish that up, and then really just get everything rounded over and looking nice. And this is going to be done. I have the video almost completely done for this. Shooting for the video to come out this weekend. That's the plan. And then the next step after this is done, I'm going to be putting my side bender to work, which, man, I'm super excited about. Can't wait to try that thing. I've been listening to the sound. And it just sounds cool. So let's see here. Senpakin said, thumbs up, folks. Yeah, right on. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. If you're enjoying these lives, hit that thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate it. Tony's here. Tony says, morning, sunshine. Morning, Tony. Dave says, the Texas Toast Guitars contest is due in 2 weekends. I'll be out there. Oh, do you have to bring it? Like, do you have to bring it to them or something? It's kind of cool. Harry Dude's here. Setting that down. Harry Dude says, what's up? Hello, everyone. Sam Packin says, the second one easier than the first. More familiar with the process. I find all my builds are different. It's a little bit easier. Really only because I'm not going into every process blind. I still have, there's still a lot of hesitation on certain steps, but because I've done it before, I at least know what to expect as compared to the first build. I did make a mistake. You may notice that this brace is a little different color than the rest of the braces. That's because, well, I cut the brace too short. What did I do with that piece? I don't know where it is. For some reason, when I marked this out, I marked it incorrectly on my part, and I cut the brace too short. These are supposed to go all the way to the edge. This is the transverse bar. It's supposed to go all the way to the edge, and it gets notched into the kerfing when you glue this to the sides. I had the end of it right about here. So there was no way it was going to go all the way. And I didn't realize it until I was getting ready to start carving the braces. So I had to. This took forever. I spent a couple hours with a heat gun and a little spatula thing, heating it up and working it into the glue, trying to remove that brace so that I could glue on another one. And I didn't have another piece of this. This is, I believe this is Adirondack spruce, and this is Sitka. But yeah, I mean, still mistakes will be made, even though I've already done this process well once. But I'm happy with the way the repair turned out. Didn't really have any major damage, and mistakes are proof you're trying, right? So I mean, it's a little bit easier, Rick, just because I've done the process before, but still, it's not. Still. Let's see. Sam said the only problem with guitars is they're always sticking their necks out all the time. I know those things. Mike says, "Good morning. What's the diamonds at the joint between the braces?" This. Well, I'll tell you. Neither of these are on the plans. On the first guitar, I forget exactly why I ended up having to put a diamond on there, a little patch. I honestly don't remember. But in talking with my friend Matt at Zimbelman Guitars, he had suggested whatever the issue I had, and I can't remember what it was, to go ahead and put a patch on there. And this one I put on there strictly because I did it on the last one. And I like the sound of the last one, so I thought, well, it's not going to hurt anything here. So I'm just going to put it on there. These down here are actually on there for a reason, because I could see, I don't know if it was in the process of carving the top, carving the braces or what, but it looked like a couple of cracks were trying to form right here. And this was just a little extra insurance that something didn't crack. All of this area down here is going to be glued to the tail block once it gets attached, so I'm not worried about any cracking. But I put these on there right where it looked like there was a crack. I don't know if maybe I pressed down on it and it tried to, I don't know. Just a little extra insurance that nothing comes apart, really. May not have been necessary. In fact, it probably wasn't, but I felt better adding that to it. And I don't notice any sort of negative impact by having those on there. So yeah, that was just a little extra insurance that nothing decided to try to come apart. I wasn't quite sure what I was seeing, why it just looked funny in that area, so I decided to just apply some extra insurance. Mike said, "P.S. Love your rosette." Oh, right on. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. If you haven't seen it, the video came out last weekend. You can check it out right here on the old YouTube channel. Making this rosette, really happy with it. Looked really cool. First time I've ever done a radial rosette, and so far so good. Dave says your guitar has to be there for the contest. The builder doesn't have to be. It's always good to see the Texas Toast friends. Oh, right on. That's awesome. Sam says the pond would look cool with a plexiglass bridge hidden just underneath the surface of the water, so it looks like you're walking on water. I've seen stuff like that before, and it looks super cool. Just walking right on the top is what it looks like. Be some heavy duty plexi though. Dave says, "Wow, the rosette looks great installed in the top." Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. It went together pretty good. I can't complain. other than the fact that it's a scary step, cutting a hole in the middle of your of your pieces. I mentioned that in the video. It's like every process is terrifying, especially when you're when you're new to it still. Every time you're doing something, almost it feels like one slip of whatever you're doing, and all of your hard work is gone. Somebody commented on the video and said, once you get to your 50th guitar or so, that bit of excitement tends to go away. But who knows if I'll ever get to 50 acoustics? But I guess you never know. Yeah. So just trying to get that thing, get those braces carved and shaped and sanded smooth and everything. That's then I can move on, like I said, and the next step is going to be bending the sides. My poor side bender that's over there, you can't really see it even if I point at it, but it's waiting. It's waiting in anticipation. Don't worry, you'll get used right quick. Sam says, is there a guitar that's between acoustic guitars and electric guitars, like a midway version? I would say probably an arch top. Maybe an arch top or a kind of a hollow body. Yeah, is kind of the same. Although a hollow body I would say is more electric. It just has a hollowed out inside body and you glue a top on it. An arch top, I think, is a little more acoustic, whereas you bend the sides and it has an actual carved top. Although I suppose you probably could bend them or build one without bending the sides, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the arch tops have bent sides like an acoustic. I'm not super up on arch top guitar construction. But I would say probably that would be the in-between. I think of like the Gretsch, like the Country Gentleman and that sort of guitar. It kind of combines aspects of an acoustic and an electric. They have pickups, sort of an acoustic type construction. So that's what I would say. What do you guys think? Sam Packin says, I felt that way pulling the bridge insert out. Yikes. Yeah, you just never know. I mean, even something like, it sounds simple, right? You're just pulling some knurled inserts out. What could go wrong, right? But when you think about when you're pulling it out, there's so many opportunities to chip and tear the finish off of there, and you just never know what's going to happen. Let's see. Mike says, I'm working on re-roofing and painting plywood before the roofers show up. I found a sure way to cause it to rain. Yes. Go work on the roof. That's one way to do it. Tear into some project that requires nice weather and it's going to rain. And when you want it to rain, it won't. I usually like when I mow the grass. I usually like it to rain not long after that. That way that it can kind of kickstart the new growth. And I mowed mine over this past weekend. We got a tiny shower, but not a whole lot. So now everything's probably going to turn brown because we're getting so hot. Oh well. Sam Packin says, I agree, 100%. You just never know. I'm not super worried at the step that I'm on at the acoustic where I'm carving the braces, getting things shaped. The only thing that can really go wrong, well, there's a few things. If I get get the pressing on stuff, maybe am I going to crack something? And maybe that's what happened that I was seeing before I started a crack or possibility of a crack. Maybe pressing down while I'm, carving away. So I got to be careful of that. And the other thing is, when you're carving, if you slip with your chisel, especially when I'm carving this soft cedar, I mean, the chisel, it could go right through it almost. So any slip, so you got to be really careful. Take your time. But those are the two things that I'm trying to keep in mind for this step. And then of course, next when I'm bending the sides, am I going to break one? Am I gonna not apply enough water? Am I going to apply too little water, or too much water? Am I going to heat it up too much, or heat it up not enough and crack it? Who knows? So that's going to be one of those steps where I hope nothing happens. I'm feeling good about the process, but you never know. For me, this is only my second build. I've not experienced every single problem. I know that. So many opportunities for something to go awry. Corey says the white cedar and the red cedar, they're both soft wood to work with. This is true. Yes, cedar is soft. Yeah, whether it's the aromatic red cedar or this is Port Orford cedar. There's some other ones too, and I can't think of the name of them. But yeah, cedars are really soft. I mean, if I could poke that with the edge of my nail, and it would definitely put a dent in there. So I'm trying to be careful even to avoid that. I don't want any chips, sawdust and stuff underneath where I'm working. That way I don't press the top down into it and cause a dent. So yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. Senpakin says, don't recall if you have a steam box. I do not have a steam box. My plan for bending the sides is going to be basically the same process we used to bend the Padauk sides on the first acoustic. The only difference is I had my friend Matt help me with that, who's an experienced builder. I'll be doing this one on my own. So, but basically what you do is you take the wood and you put it into it gets spritzed with some water, wrapped up in aluminum foil, and then sandwiched between two pieces of spring steel, and then the heat blanket goes on there. So you're making like a big sandwich, basically, with the spring steel as the bun. And basically, by having it wrapped in aluminum foil, it creates kind of almost a sealed envelope, so that you spritz it with a spray bottle of water. When that heats it up, it almost creates like a mini steam box, kind of, and it kind of steams and boils in there. And kind of the same thing, except you're not leaving it in there like you would a steam box for, I don't know how long exactly, an hour or more, depending on what you're bending. You're basically doing the same thing, it's just on a much smaller level. Rick says, how do you manage not to scratch the face and sides of your builds? Well, once I get to that step, I don't know if I can show you or not. Let me see here. This will swivel around. So, this is kind of a weird angle. This is basically kind of my setup. I'm going to try to like kneel down so I can see you guys. You can see I'm working in my radius dish. That way it supports the whole radius that's on both of these plates. This is my other radius dish, my 15-foot radius dish that has the back, and I was working with an old towel on the top, and I like that the best, but I decided, I mentioned where I thought might have been a crack. I thought maybe the towel's adding a little too much spring in there, and even though I'm working in the dish, maybe that was something that was going wrong. So I decided to I'm just using a piece of parchment paper, and I do a lot of brushing the chips off, because I don't want any little chip or piece of sawdust under there. And so far that's been what I'm doing. I mean, I see a couple little spots where, oh, there's one. little dent, but a couple little spots where I've got some. I must have got a chip or something under there, but I'm just trying to be very um, deliberate with how I'm working, and I'm trying to keep the area clean. I have some little carpet squares. If I need to set something down, I just always try to keep the surface protected with something, just to try to do my best. I'm sure there's other ways that people do that. That's just what I've been doing right now. Working on towels, working on carpet squares, trying to put something down to protect things. Is it foolproof? It's not, but it's just what I've been doing for now. And I'm gonna get little dents in there. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully I don't, but I'm probably gonna get a couple small ones. But we'll see. Let's try to do the best I can. Keep everything protected. That's what I've been doing. Oh, sorry, I stuck my finger in your eye there. Sorry about that. All right, that was kind of fun. I should do a live. Do something like that when I'm actually working on something. That might be fun. Rick says, sounds like a steam box would be easier. It might be. I don't know. Sam says this is how people get stiff necks. Yeah. Yes, like all hunched over trying to be in the camera. Ready? You just clamp it into your mold. I don't know. I like the idea of it, and it would be kind of fun to try. Yeah, I can't personally say one way is easier over the other. I only have experience using the heating blanket and a side bender, which I would still use the side bender. You would just take it out and be able to clamp it right down. Steam box would be kind of cool. Sam says, do you think you might stamp the channel name on the guitar once complete? I have a mock-up around here somewhere. If you saw the first acoustic guitar build, I'm going to use my guitar brand, Haley Guitars. That's what's going to go on there. That's what I build all my guitars under. So that's what I'll end up using on this as well. I had a mock-up when I did the first guitar. I don't know where I've put it. My head, it'll go right on the headstock logo. It'll say Haley Guitars. I also have a little paper label that's going to get applied to this back here as soon as I'm done with the braces. So that's what'll be on these is Haley Guitars. I don't know where those. I gotta find those labels. I think they're in here somewhere. Oh, there they are. So I have these little labels that I'll cut out, and that'll get, I'll be able to sign it, fill in some information there, and that gets glued right on the back plate. It'll get glued. Let me show you. That'll get glued right here. And you can go back and watch the first acoustic guitar build series, and you'll see where the label ends up in there. But this will be getting applied very soon. Sam says, perhaps attempt a piano one day. I can say with about 100% certainty, I will not be building a piano. Although that would be a pretty incredible project. I barely have enough room in here to build guitars with all the jigs and fixtures and things. There's no way I could build a piano in here. It's like building a canoe that we were talking about. I do want to build a canoe, but I can't do it in here. But that would be an awesome project. Okay, here's a thought. I want to know from you guys. Just because for the longest time, I felt like building an acoustic guitar was kind of the ultimate woodworking project, right? So many little details and techniques and things that you have to do in order to be able to complete it. What what is that ultimate project for you that you would like to be able to complete? You know, someday. What is that thing that you want to do? Do you want to? Is it, maybe it's build a set of an entire kitchen cabinet set. Maybe it's build a guitar. Maybe it's build a whatever. What is that project for you that you know you want to do someday, but it almost feels like it's it's above um, where you feel your skill level is, if that makes sense. What's that ultimate project? I would love to hear from you guys what that kind of a project is, because I want to encourage all of you to shoot for that project, whatever it is, even if it feels out of reach. I can tell you, for me, like I said, an acoustic guitar was something that I really wanted to do, but it always felt like it was just too much. But now here I'm starting on the second one, and what is it? What is that project? Is there one? Or so far have you checked off everything that you wanted to do? Sam says on the internet they have folding yard benches with tables that attach to a wall. Hmm. Mike says, I never want to be done, always growing. Mike, I am 100% with you. Um, for a lot of years, uh, well, ever since this was back in the early mid 90s, early 90s maybe, I I saw the plans for an electric guitar in, I thought it was Popular Mechanics magazine. My grandfather always got Popular Mechanics and Popular Science, and I would read those like literally front to back. Every episode I would read those things. And one time they had plans in there for building a solid body electric guitar. I remember it. It was kind of a Strat style, well, it was a Strat style guitar. And I had taken that episode or that issue, and I made copies of those plans. And I had those plans set aside for a long time, um, because I thought, man, that would just be so cool. And this was about the time I was really kind of getting into playing guitar, and I was kind of excited about it all. And I just thought it would be so awesome to be able to build your own guitar. And there was a couple times when I wanted to consider it, but then I'm looking at parts and all that stuff, and I just didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know how to. I didn't know the steps. I didn't really have a workshop or anything where I could do that. And so, for a long time, that was the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to build an electric guitar. I finally decided to tear into it. I think about 7 or 8 years ago, I believe it was, when I built my first one, and it was just the body. I made the body, I put a all parts neck on there, but and that's kind of what kicked it off and started this whole process. But once I built the electric, the acoustic kind of became the thing that just seemed out of reach. Man, I wanted to build an acoustic, but just so it just seemed overwhelming. Well, now, like I said, we're on the second one. And I would encourage anybody, when there's a project like that, don't be afraid. You figure out how to just get into it. I don't care if it takes a year, 2 years, whatever. I always want to. I'm with you, Mike. I always want to try to. I want to learn new things. I really enjoy trying and learning new things. Sometimes it's a fail. Sometimes you make mistakes. That's how it goes. But never stop. Always search for something new to learn. Sam said I was gonna make a folding bed that folds into a trunk. That'd be cool. Kind of like a folding cot sort of thing. Corey says I want to get into metal forging where you get to make knives out of different types of steel. That's another thing that's on my list that I would really like to do. I just haven't done it yet. Yes, I think that would be so awesome. In fact, um, you guys probably know I have a 2x72 belt grinder, and I built it myself with the intent that I wanted to make some knives and stuff like that. I have yet to make a knife on that thing. Well, a little marking knife and stuff I've done, but actually making a knife, I haven't done it yet. I use that 2x72 all the time, but I haven't used it to make a knife, and that was what was in the back of my mind when I decided to build that thing. Sam Packin says, I hate to say it, but have to go and drive my wife to work. Well, right on, Rick. Well, be safe driving out there, and thanks for tuning in. Hope you have an awesome day and awesome rest of the week. Sam Packin, be safe. Right on. Dastardly Dave says, I've always wanted to build guitars at home. Made several with the TTG guys. This contest guitar is the first. I will take on more and more tasks at home as I make the next one and the next one. There you go. There you go. Right on. Once you get that first one done, while you may not feel 100%, right? It removes so many mental barriers for the next one, and it just keeps going and going like that. This acoustic that I'm working on right now, I've done all of these steps, but there's still several spots where I have to kind of go back and refer to videos and things to refresh my brain. But I feel so much better with a lot of these steps now, and that's exactly the way it is for your next guitar and your next guitar and your next guitar. And so yeah, just keep going, man. Sam Peckin says, I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. Anything I want. Right on. Sam says, tablet screen keyboards isn't very accurate. Numbers are too close to the letters. Yeah, the typing on a tablet's kind of weird. I don't know. Now, on this iPad, you can, I don't know if yours is the same way, but if you're holding it in landscape mode, right? So the keyboard comes up across the whole bottom of the screen. You can, on mine, you can take it and like swipe your thumbs out, and it separates it so that it's like it puts it in two halves, which is a little easier to type like this. And that's the way I usually keep it. I don't type a lot on the iPad, but when I have to, I do have it split up. I don't know if that works. This is an iPad. I don't know if it works like that on Android or not. But that's just one thing that I do on here that really has helped out quite a bit. Corey says, I will say this blacksmith is a lost art, but it's having a comeback. Yeah. I am, I've been slacking, sort of. We are fortunate to have a blacksmithing school right nearby here, not far from where I live. And if you guys want to look it up, look up Kilroy's Workshop. You may, if those of you that have watched like Forged in Fire, Ron, who is the owner of Kilroy's, Ron's been on Forged in Fire a couple times. I think he won it maybe once, I'm not sure. But yeah, Ron Hardman's his name. He owns Kilroy's Workshop here in Colorado Springs. I have met Ron and chatted with him for a little while. But since I've met him several years ago, they've built a new location where they are currently, from what I can see, really awesome setup. They do courses, all kinds of different classes, overall blacksmithing certificates, knife making classes, all these specific classes. And one day I need to get down there and I need to sign up and take a few classes down there. I think that would be a really awesome way to get into it. While there is, to me, there's some fun in, just getting yourself some sort of a forge and just going to town. And that's what I was thinking about doing. But, getting a good anvil and stuff is not, it's not inexpensive. So I thought maybe taking some little knife course or something would be a great way to kind of dip your toes into, to get your feet wet in the blacksmithing arena. And one day I think I might, I'm gonna have to do it. Just a little knife class of some sort. I just think it would be an awesome way to learn some basics from some very knowledgeable people, and then from there you kind of, I feel like you have a little more of an idea of some of the tools and things that you want to start acquiring. I never like to just go and buy everything all at once for whatever the task is at hand. Even like building this acoustic guitar, several of the episodes along the way, I think overall that series was 18 episodes, but along the way, I had to build the mold. That was an episode. I had to make the radius dishes. I had to make all this stuff along the way. Now I could have at the beginning just dropped all that money, bought all these things, only to find out possibly that, maybe I didn't need that thing, or maybe I don't like the way this one was made, or I like to buy it as needed. So for blacksmithing, I think having done it at least once, you kind of would have a better idea of what goes into it and what you might really need. And Brian's here. Brian says, "Hey everyone, I wanted to stop in and say hi. I'm getting ready to go to Dijon, France tomorrow for a wedding. Keep up the great work. Take care and stay safe." Right on, Brian. Well, have fun in France. Thanks for stopping by, man. Tell everyone hello from all of us here at Homebot Workshop. Sam says auto rotation. Gotcha. Corey says, "I've been watching that Forge and Fire on YouTube." Yeah, I don't know if these episodes with Ron in there are on YouTube. They might be. There was a fairly recent episode though, within the last couple of months, I think, that he was on. Ron Hardman is his name. If you can find him on here, he's local to me, sort of. He's in Colorado Springs. Sam says, "I don't use Apple anymore. Deliberately fried my device to try to get me to buy their latest products. I know they do remote deactivation because they still have an iPhone 4, but it's not logged in." Yeah, I don't have anything against Apple. I'm more of an Android guy. The only reason I have this iPad is because way back when I bought this thing, I don't even know when that was, 2016 or something like that. I was playing in a local cover band here, and the mixing board that we used, I can control it through the iPad, through an app. But at the time, all they had was the iPad app. They didn't have an app for Android. Now they do, but at the time, I really needed it to be able to control everything on here. So that's why I bought the iPad. Otherwise, I would have just stuck with Android. That is literally the only reason that I own any sort of Apple device. I'm telling you, it is getting kind of toasty in here. It's got to be 75, 80 degrees in here. Yeah, it looks like 78 degrees. Okay, let's see. Oh, did I lose you guys? I feel like I may have. I'm getting some stuttering or something on my end here. Are you guys still with me? Are we still connected? Sam says tablets can control DJ lighting now. Yeah, tablets can do a ton of stuff through the app. I will say though, it was really awesome um, to be able to, while you're playing live, we used in-ear monitors to be able to just, adjust everything right on the tablet without having to like go over to the PA system and run it. It was pretty cool. Corey says the hammers. What do you use for blacksmithing? You just can't go and find them. You have to make the different types of hammers you need for blacksmith working. You can. I have. So where I live is very heavy in the equine world, like horses, right? There's a lot of horses, and horses gotta have shoes. So you got the farriers that do some blacksmithing and stuff. But near, I mean, several miles from me, but well, it's probably 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. We have a blacksmith supply where you can go there and you can buy anvils. You can buy the blacksmithing hammers. You can buy all of the things. You can buy 2x72 belt grinders and belts and pretty much all these blacksmithing supplies there. And it's a great place. So, I mean, so I know you can buy these things, but I feel like I wouldn't want to buy them right off the bat, not knowing exactly what I want to have. I think what I would do, Corey, is I would probably hit some of the, what are they called? Like flea markets. The flea markets and stuff, and I would look for old used ones like that, stuff that maybe you can clean up, or maybe it needs a new handle, or maybe something like that. Maybe garage sales. You might be able to find some. But that's probably where I would start with, like flea markets and that sorts of thing. Maybe auctions, and locate some of those items, because I could not imagine just starting out in blacksmithing and you're like, okay, I need a hammer. So you have to so you set out to try to make that hammer. Now, yes, a lot of blacksmiths and stuff will make their own tools, but I think starting out, I would just find some sort of something that I could use. There's so many different kinds, different angles, and different orientations for different things, and it's crazy. But yeah, I know what you mean. Just starting out, it's like I don't even know what in the world I would want to get. I mean, if I was gonna forge something right now, I can't get the drawer open. I mean, I'd probably just like grab this thing. I don't know. I don't know if that's good for that. I have no experience in that, but I do like this hammer. How about just the claw hammer? Probably not recommended. Dasherly Dave says, still going. Never stopped. Interesting. Yeah, I saw a whole bunch of stuttering on this end, but I'm glad that nothing messed up on your end. Sam said, "Did you get time to check out Vaunt Tools?" Yes, I did. I did take a look through there, and yeah, it seems pretty cool. Yeah, it is getting hot in here. I'm not even doing anything. I can already feel like a little bit of sweat. It's gonna be one of those days, I think. Right on. Yeah, so I think once we're done here, I'm gonna do a little more carving on these braces and try to get this thing ready to go. I'm excited to get into bending the sides. I am shooting for having this video up this weekend. Like I mentioned, my daughter had come home early from camp, and she wasn't feeling well. So I did have a little bit of time to do some editing, and so I kind of got things caught up to about where I am right now in the process. So I've got just a little bit left to film, and we'll get that thrown together. Planning on having that out Saturday, Sunday, probably Sunday, I'm guessing. That's what I'm going to shoot for. Sam said, YouTube stuttering. YouTube needs to be checked out by a professional. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, maybe. cool. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I forgot to switch that to live. So hopefully I didn't miss any comments here. There we go. Now that we're nearing the end of our broadcast, cool. All right. Well, let's see. Guys, got any questions, comments, all that sort of thing? Something we can. Whoa! Someone just went by honking the horn. Sam says, "Do you have a robot mower?" No, sir. I do not. No robot mowers for me. Where I live is the everything's too irregular, and I don't think a robot mower would be the best. The best. I think they're kind of cool, and I've even had, I have like these, overseas companies, let's just say, reach out a lot to have me try their whatever it is thingy, and I've had a robot mower place, not even a name brand I've ever heard of, you just get these requests all the time. Kind of annoying. Once in a while you get one that's worth it, but I've had requests to test robot mowers, and that's not something I'm gonna do. I don't cover lawnmowers. Like, I'll work on lawnmowers, we'll repair the lawnmowers, but I'm not gonna test your overseas robot lawnmower. Sam says, perhaps make a bar in a shed for the summer. We got a bar right here, buddy. Cold water on tap. Stay hydrated when it's hot. Cool. And don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. Shows the old YouTubes that this is a good broadcast or something. I don't know. Sam, Moonshine Workshop. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. Actually, I think there might be somebody like that already. I don't know. That'd be kind of neat. You got a still boiling away in the background? No, probably shouldn't do that. Alrighty, we're right on, guys. Oh, let me show you something. It's alright. My method for sanding the radius on my braces. So, the back, all of the braces get a shape on the back. I made this little sanding block. I just mash a piece of sandpaper down in there, and I can sand that radius in there. It works awesome. Yeah, just another use for the 3D printer. Custom sanding blocks. I mean, you can't get it any more perfect than that. I've got another one for the top that I'm going to be using. A little bit different shape, but I have a little bit left to go, but see how that sands just sand that in there. So I gotta be careful. This thing's so brittle. No, I mean, not really, but I gotta be careful the way I hold it. But yeah, custom sanding blocks. I used these on the first build, but maybe you haven't seen it yet. So that's just another cool little gadget. Always trying to make gadgets and fixtures to make things easier. Problem is trying to remember where you put them all. Sam says, I hit the like button. Right on, thank you. Harry Dude says, I have a fridge in my workshop. Doesn't help when I'm freezing my you-know-what off all winter. Well, Harry Dude, I'm sorry you're cold. Us here on the other side of the hemisphere, it's pretty toasty. And stay warm, my friend. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But see, you don't need to run the fridge when it's cold. Yeah, we were about 100 yesterday. I don't know what your summer temps are typically like, but here in my area, like right here where I live, hundreds getting up there. It's throughout the state here it gets hotter in areas, but right here where I live, I think I've only seen it, 103, 104, and that's the hottest I personally have ever seen it here. So 100's getting the upper end of our limits. My little window air conditioner in the house is just working its hardest to try to keep things comfortable. Corey says, the thing is, I like making stuff from scratch, but I always like to challenge myself to see if I can do it. Yeah, and I think everybody should. We should all challenge ourselves to try to do that thing, whatever that thing is for you, regardless of what other people are doing. I challenge all of it, all of you, all of everybody. That's what I was going to say. It doesn't make sense. I challenge all of you. Don't let that thing stop you. Just keep working on it, and you'll get there. Never quit. You want to tackle that thing, do it. I don't care if that thing. I don't care if the thing for you might seem like something simple for somebody else. Do not let that stop you. Don't compare. Don't compare those sorts of things. Don't compare yourself to others. I watch so many things on YouTube and I see people build these amazing things, and it's like, wow. But a lot of times, that thing may not be something I want to build. I don't care how, no matter how nice it is, don't compare. Don't let that stop you from tackling that thing, whatever that is. And be proud of it too. There's my motivational step for the day. I don't know. But seriously, guys, if there's something, do not let others. Don't compare yourself to others and let that be a hindrance to you wanting to tackle the thing that you want to do. Do it for you. You're not building it for somebody else. I mean, you know what I mean. Okay, Sam says on Google they got a log burning hot tub. I've seen those. Yeah, the wood burning hot tubs, and that's kind of cool. Sam says I got 2 battery operated fans. That's a good idea. I should put a couple in here. Problem is, like I've said before, why I don't play music or anything a whole lot is I've usually got the camera running, and I wouldn't want that, Harry Dude says you should only compete against yourself when it comes to doing projects. Well said. Well said, Harry Dude. You are absolutely correct. You probably summed up what I was trying to say much better than the way I said it. But but yeah, and I'm guilty of it at times as well. Like I said, you see people building things, and you're just like, how can I ever compete with that? So I guess I may as well not even ever try to build whatever it is. One thing that I have found, now sometimes it's hard to do if you're trying to learn a new process, but I try to not, if I'm setting out to build something, I try to not watch videos and do a whole lot of research. I mean, like look at pictures and stuff, because you always get ideas in your head of someone else's work. Sometimes I can't avoid it. If I'm trying to figure out a specific thing, but overall, I try to. I'll research a process. I'll research maybe a material, maybe something that I'm going to need in that process. But overall, I really try to limit some of my looking at pictures, because I can just get lost in the weeds. And then I'm like, man, they made one so nice, and like I can't make one that nice. And yeah, don't ever compete with anybody else. Sam says you can make kid toy furniture to sell online. Yeah, I mean you can make a ton of stuff to sell online. Really, it just depends on what you wanted to do. Yep, the sky's the limit with making things. You know, you can all make whatever, and that is one of the pieces. I've said it before. One of the things that I really love about just being able to go to the shop and make something. You know, I enjoy making so many different things, and you know, it's just an opportunity to try different skills and materials and techniques and finishes and all that kind of stuff. There's no end. Um, yeah. Sam says, would you ever try Amish style furniture? Maybe. I do kind of like the Amish style furniture, but you gotta keep in mind that there's a lot of differences even with that. You know, I've seen some that's very traditional, very clean straight line kind of thing, and I've seen some that's a little bit more modern. So some of the stuff that they say is Amish furniture is not Amish furniture. Um, yeah, I usually like the Amish style furniture, whether it's actually Amish or not. I don't know, but that's for another day. Anyway, guys, it is about time to wrap this episode up. I got to get to carving some more braces here so that I can move on and get some sides bent. Sam says their chairs hang on the wall. Yes, they do the you know, the peg strips, and I actually do a lot of things with those pegs. I love those pegs, and it's super cool. So, Desperately Dave says, thanks, Jeff. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream, and thank all of you. You and you and you, all of you. Thank you for taking some time out of your morning, or afternoon, or, in case of Harry Dude, evening, overnight hours. Thanks for hanging out. Always my pleasure to hang out with you guys. I appreciate all of you for tuning in week after week. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. So, with that being said, I'm going to get to carving some more braces. I'm going to let you guys get back to what it is you're working on, and be on the lookout this weekend for the new video. And yeah, you guys, thanks again. Stay safe, stay well, get out in your shops, make some cool stuff. I don't care how simple or how elaborate it is.